Yeah.
My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
What an arse kicking that was in St. Louis last night. Judd's Hockey Show, Judd and AJ. And of course, now that the season has started, we'll be with you multiple times per week talking about the Wild most of the time. And boy, that was an impressive but weird game. 5 rip, yeah. But if you just look at the box score, you're like, well, the Blues must have not generated any offense. But then you go back to the second period of this game, and there's actually, in the second period, the majority of the period, the Wild didn't have a shot. It was 14-0 Blues in shots until Eriksson Ek scores a power play goal. And Jordan Binnington, again, seemingly, he didn't get a lot of support, but he's amazing because you put him in the biggest game possible and he will stand on his head. You put him in the season opener and he will watch pucks go by him and not have a care in the world. Yeah. But AJ, I want to start with this one. Filip Gustavsson, I thought, was probably, again, the box score 5 rip. You're thinking, okay, the goalie didn't have to do much work, which is not true. He made those 14 saves in the second period. He made 27, but it wasn't just the saves. It's not the statistics that got me from watching this game. It was how controlled he played, the lack of rebounds. He played it. There were some in the first period. David Jiricek had a terrible giveaway. Awful touch pass, and I don't know what he was doing exactly, but he put it back towards the middle of the ice, and Robert Thomas, who's a really good player of all people, picks it off and has a chance, and because Gus stands his ground, Thomas didn't get a shot off, so I really thought one of the underlying stories of the game that you had to watch the game to appreciate was Filip Gustavsson was absolutely outstanding. One game, but he was still very good.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we highlighted a lot last year when he was at his best, which is the big thing for his game is he plays like, he absorbs the puck. He kind of is like a black hole where there's not a lot of bobble, there's not a lot of second chances, so you're not letting the opposition get those second, third whacks at it when they penetrate to the middle there. Whereas the Wild had a couple chances like that, and they eventually do beat Binnington, and it ends up being kind of the story of the night. But Filip Gustavsson, that's been kind of his go-to, what sets him aside from some of the more average goaltenders in the league and puts him in that upper echelon, which is he just doesn't let up a lot of rebounds, and when he does, he deflects them to very low danger areas in the corner, so it forces the opposition to reset. And when you have a goalie like that, it makes your defense look a lot better out front. For instance, the Bogosian-Jiricek pairing had an expected goals against last night of just 0.41 for how much time they had on the ice. That's really impressive. But yeah, when you have a goalie like that, it's kind of what we talked about when the news broke that they extended him, which was he was a reason, especially in that second half last year, that they were in a position to win a lot of games. Well, guess what? Last night in that second period, when they were just kind of getting walloped for the first 15 minutes of that period, he's the reason why they held on to a lead, and then actually scored 2 goals late to go up 4-0 into the intermission. So I was texting with old colleague of ours, John Harrison, between periods, and he's like, hockey's a funny game because the Wild, I don't think, have earned a 4-0 lead. I'm like, you could almost say they did because of how well Filip Gustavsson just played in that second period to put them in a position. So he had a very impressive night, and yes, it is opening night. It is their first game. But it's a lot better than the opposite conversation we could be having, which is, wow, he looks sluggish out there. Wow, he made some mistakes. You got to see if he can turn this around by Saturday at home. So it's better to start good than start bad. Oh, Judd, you muted?
My bad. I think I muted myself. Sorry, the dogs are right here, and I don't want them to start to bark. I don't think they will, but I don't know. But I think the good thing, too, is how he started hot, but the way that you just explained how he started, too. Like, he didn't stand on his head. It wasn't like a bunch of flurry-like saves and, how he loved to style his saves, which was awesome. But it was just a very solid start, and it's the type of goaltending that you want. It's the type of goaltending that I think with his contract now you probably expect. Let's get to the first line, okay?
Yeah.
So the first line generates in total Kaprizov 3 assists, Rossi a goal and an assist, 2 points, including a nice assist on, I think it was the first goal by Hartman, who had 2 goals. We'll get to him. And then Boldy, a goal, 2 assists, 3 points. And I want to talk about Boldy because he's the one again that stood out to me. Like Kaprizov had a really nice game, and it's a Kaprizov game. He should be expected. Like 3 points is great, but he should be expected. Like there's very little he can do besides an occasional phenomenal move that's going to surprise us or make us say, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. And Boldy didn't make, I don't think it was flashy plays, but this is what I saw, and I was a little bit hesitant to get too excited about it a little bit in the preseason. This is Matt Boldy now. Like this is who he can be, and it's not 3 points per game that I'm talking about. It is the way that he plays now is so smart. The way that he sees the ice, it feels like, has expanded, and just the fact, and I know it sounds simple and stupid, but just the fact that I feel like every time I'm seeing him play now, he is showing up and applying himself. It feels like he is going into, and I'm willing to guess that the Four Nations helped with this, being around a bunch of great players, but it feels like he's going up a slot from, okay, he's a really good player, needs to apply himself more. When he doesn't, drives us crazy, to he's going into not superstar territory, but I would say star power forward territory where he is becoming, and it's like he realizes he can be this, a force on the ice way more than he was previously.
Yeah, I don't know that he is going to ever get or has the ability to get to like that superstar level that you kind of put a high, but it's a small club for a reason. Like that is the best of the best. But what he does have is the skill set to be a star and a nightly star in this league, because we've seen it where he has, and I think this has been a big gripe for you over the past couple seasons, which is you're almost getting the Kevin Fiala treatment where he looks like a rock star for a week. And then that all goes away, and it's like, well, what's going on? What did you eat some bad sushi on the road or something, and you feel bad? Like, why are you not trying as hard? Why are you not applying yourself each and every shift? Mm-hmm. Well, last night, each and every shift, Matt Boldy, we got the very best of him. Sure, he had a couple secondary assists, but that means he's still driving the play, setting up the play, and involving himself offensively. So I don't want to hear whether it's the primary or secondary assist. The goal that he had, I think, is going to be a lot to come, because in that instance, he got himself to a really good area, and he's able to find the back of the net. And that's what you got to do. It doesn't, I mean, if you're going to score, I mean, how many times has Ovi scored 50? Have all of them been highlight reel goals in a season? No. I don't care how they come. It's just how many they come. So him getting on the board early here and kind of starting that campaign, I think is going to be a good shout. And when it comes down to it, the maturity of finding that workman, like, okay, I need to do this every day. I'm in a routine. Now it's constant. And there will be dips in that play because it's an 82 game season. It's a long season. So I totally understand that. But to have it go all of preseason, we take notice of it, into now night one, wow, he's still doing it, we take notice of it. I think this is more of we're looking at a more consistent version of Matt Boldy, which he already had the skills. It was the consistency that I think takes another step, and now we're taking that step, and it's fun to watch it. So as long as we see this here for a handful of games to start the season, then it's like this is the new permanent Matt Boldy, which is going to be awesome.
And to your Ovechkin point too, because he is a power forward, I don't need Boldy to ever be like draw me out of my seat with plays. Like that's not, like I need him to, like the goal, I need him to go to areas where he's going to get his ass kicked and not care about that. That's what the great ones do. And so if he does that, and that's, I think that's my frustration. It's not that he doesn't show up and make pretty plays. It's that there are games or there have been games, and Bill Guerin talked about this after the playoffs 2 years ago, I think, and basically said Matt has to do more. Matt can do more, and he was exactly right. But it is the want to get your butt kicked and to kick butt back, and that's where, because when you get to the playoffs, that's what it's all about. Like that's where you have to live. And if you don't come out of the playoffs hurting, you've done something wrong in his position. So like that's what I saw too. And I get it. It's maturity. It's being around the game more. It's potentially being around superstar players or star players yourself more. But that to me is incredibly heartening, because you know what? When it comes to Kirill, you know what you're going to get, right?
Mhm.
Like Kirill's going to give you, and he's going to get his points, and he's going to make some plays that are off the charts, and he is your superstar. But I don't think have we ever complained about Kirill and like the work ethic? I can't remember ever doing a show
No,
where we've been like, oh boy, he seemed checked out last night.
I
And
don't think
so
we've
like
ever said those words.
yeah. So like with Kirill is Kirill, and he's fantastic. But there have to be other guys that do different things that make them stars. Like that's the thing too, is Boldy's not going to be Kirill, nor should he be. And I thought last night Marco Rossi played a nice game. I think he deserves to be on the first line.
Mhm.
Excuse me, not the fourth line. So I thought that was great. Another thing that I was impressed by, and again, 60-minute sample size. Okay, so very very small. But another thing that I really liked for the most part were the face-off numbers, because we now have word that Nico Sturm is undergoing back surgery and he's going to be out like 6 to 8 weeks. So like your face-off guy, and I know he's going to play on the fourth line, but your face-off guy is now going to be out for an extended period of time. Last night, the primary face-off guys, Hartman, who we could talk about now, who was fantastic, 2 goals, but he won 10 of 14. Very, very good. Rossi won 5 of 8. Eriksson Ek took 22 and won 9. But back to Hartman, right? If Ryan Hartman, and I am very skeptical, okay? I'll tell you this right now. I am very skeptical, but he 2 goals. That he can not just maintain this level of play, and I don't even know he can. He's not going to score 2 goals per game. There somewhere is probably 20-ish or so that we should all take and be thankful. What, he had 30 plus 1 season playing on that first line, I think. He had 11 last season in what was a really tough year until the playoffs. So like 20 to 25 would be a sweet spot. But more importantly too is, can he do what he did last night from a style standpoint? Agitate a little bit, play a really really strong game, stay away from dumb penalties, and then another thing we probably don't talk about enough is also stay away from not just dumb penalties, Age, but also sort of at times checking out because he's become such a hothead. He runs around and does dumb things. They might not drop penalties, but they take away from the game or his game. So if he can do what he did last night style-wise, so let's just say he gets an assist or no points, but he plays like that on the third line, you've got something. But I remain skeptical. Like, let's see it for an extended. Like with Boldy, I know what you got. I know what you got. With Hartman, it's a chip in his brain. So let's see that. But if that's what you have to offer, we are talking a seismic shift in who I think this show at least thinks who he is.
Yeah, and that I'll give the flowers, because the third line last night I thought was really really good.
Yeah.
Him, Johansson, and Trenyan. First off, Yakov Trenin, way to go. That was a fantastic game. And because of your point that I saw you tweet out the other night, which is the narrative now that he just took a long time to like accustom himself to the state of Minnesota and like his routine here, throw that out the window. He is in significantly better shape, something I should probably take out of that playbook. But he came in and is looking like a legitimate hockey player.
Yes.
And he's moving like a hockey player now. He's conditioned like a hockey player now. So congrats to him. It's a fresh slate for a good reason, because he's earned it. So I'm excited to see actually what he can do. But Ryan Hartman last night, your comment about him, the offensive output was, I don't know how sustainable that is to expect 2 or even a goal from him, on a somewhat nightly basis. But he did it on the third line, where I think the mentality and the role they play is also a little more defensive at times. Of his 18 shifts, he started 7 of those in the defensive zone. Like that line was second on of the main grouping for expected goals against last night, along with the top line. The top line had less than 0.3 expected goals against. So Boldy taking that PK knowledge and applying it. Kirill Kaprizov, we know how, like, for a superstar, he's a two-way guy who can play in the defensive zone. He's not afraid to do it. He's applying himself there, and Marco Rossi kind of is going to do whatever he needs to do to play top 6 minutes on this team. So Ryan Hartman, if this is what we're going to get, by all means. But I'm a little more, compared to Boldy, I'm a little more hesitant with what that is. This feels like, do you remember you're not going to know what this is, the Fushigi like back in the day. It was a
That's
toy.
back in your day, age, not my day.
It was like a toy that was like, parents call now. It's only $19.99, and it looked super cool, Judd. It was awesome.
Right.
And it was great. And my parents never got me one, but I had a buddy who got one. And then I remember he got it and he unboxed it, and it was just like a plastic ball in a box, but on the TV, the way that they were doing it made it look like this super cool revolution. It was just a ball. It was just a ball. I'm afraid that Ryan Hartman is the Fushigi, where we're getting dazzled right away, but by the time that we really wake up to what he is, he's just a ball. So we'll see. If he's the real like commercial Fushigi, then that'll be awesome. But
I wonder if the suspension ultimately, well, it for sure
think
did
it played
in
a role?
the playoffs. I wonder if it helped. I wonder if it helped because he can play. Like, he's got an agitation gene. Like, his style of play I like a lot. But he can play like such an idiot at times that it's like, what are you doing? And you're hurting your team. And it feels like after the suspension, I don't know if they sort of pseudo-threatened him and said, hey, you got one more chance or you're gone. Or, because you can't score 11 goals and then cost us like you have. But, like, he's been a different player. He's been a different player, and he is now, the year on the first line, I always sort of was skeptical about because one, that line played well, but second of all, that's not his job. Like you were putting him with really, really good players. Like, the third line's his job. I think he is an ideal third line guy. And the reality of that was, if he's there and he is playing and applying himself, and dare I say this, is this completely out of bounds that when he's playing at his best, he has the ability to be a poor man's Brad Marchand?
I think that's about as good of a compliment. Like, some people will take that the wrong way. That is an outstanding compliment to him.
Marchand changed his game a little bit. Like, he was an idiot for a long time too. Suspensions, dumb things. I mean, Hartman didn't at least lick a guy's face.
But I feel like we've shifted away from the Ryan Reeveses of the world, and I guess San Jose hasn't gotten that memo yet, but I feel like you need guys like a Ryan Hartman, like a Brad Marchand on your team if you want to do, like, it feels like every cup winning team has a guy like that, right? They can play, but also, God, if you're not with them, you hate them. You just like, I'm sure opposing fans are just sick of Ryan Hartman. So if he gets even close to like a resemblance of that, that's fine. And I mean, granted, the guy that we've seen post suspension, God, and like, I'm not going to say delight because I'm still very hesitant on him, but I'm pleased with him being an addition on this team as well. So.
Quickly on Trennan, yes, he is. He looks to me like they signed or acquired his little brother. Like, that's what he looks like now. And yeah, don't buy this. Well, he wasn't comfortable last year. He came in. I mean, he looks like a different guy. Like he said he lost 15 pounds, which in an athlete's world is a ton of weight. Like, because you redistribute it. Like, they're not looking to necessarily like lose weight unless it's fat. They're looking to redistribute it. But yeah, he got an opportunity. I don't know if he signed that contract and thought I'm set or what, or thought I'm going to be big and fight a lot. I have no idea what he thought. But the guy and I said this from the first day of camp, it's very frustrating that he did that because he wasted a year, well, he started in the playoffs and now it's continuing. Are you looking at this guy? Ladies and gentlemen, come on. And from the first day of camp, though, I said, I mean, this guy looks different, and watch him skate now. Like, I remember last year, there were some people that said, well, he can skate, and I was like, no, he can't. He looks slow as molasses. Well, now he can skate, and he looks like a different player. Johansson played a nice game. I want to get to this too, but I mean, I don't see, this is typical JoJo, which is it's opening night. I'm going to show him I belong. Now I'm going to glide around. We'll see on him. I'm very skeptical. I've been led to water far too many times. And the problem is the payoff when he plays well is not worth it. Like it is with Boldy, I'm frustrated but patient because when Boldy's playing well and playing consistently, it's fantastic. Even with Hartman, I've never accused him, like he's been dumb, but we've never accused him of being checked out. I don't think. He's never looked like he's checked out. Johansson has looked checked out, but on Trennan, I consider it One, it's a big strike what he did last season based on how he was conditioned, but I consider this a very fresh start because he's a different player. Just a different player.
Yeah, he is. And for Johansson, I'm going to give it like a week because he is like Eric Belanger from like the late 2000s, early 2010s.
That's a pull.
Well, he was guaranteed for a 2-goal opening night and then maybe a couple points in the following like 3 or 4 games, and then he'd disappear. He would just go away for the entire season. Yeah. So then that's what I'm expecting here from Johansson, but I would love to be proven wrong. I don't think I'm going to be, but I don't think.
Well, you just don't. Yeah. I don't know that that's the best use full time of your right wing, third line, top 9 guy. If Trennan's going to play like he can play now, he belongs there. Third line, he belongs there. Okay, a few more things. Number 1, special teams takeaways. The power play looked awful on its first 2 with the first unit. What's funny is, and I don't know if it was an ice time situation or a demotion, but on the second power play, the first unit was so bad that on the second power play opportunity, Hines went with the second group, which actually created way more chances. The second half of that power play, the first unit got back on and was horrific. But at the end of the day, the first power play goes 1 for 3, and the Blues had 2 power plays and went 0 for 2. And I do like you mentioned this. The Boldy, Faber, I think they're taking the right approach, and they're also being a little bit more aggressive on the penalty kill. So I guess coming away from this game, despite the power play goal, I was more bullish on what I saw from the PK than I was what I saw from the power play, because I saw that first group. They're either not familiar with each other's game, or there was something else that was detracting from it.
The power play is, I think it's tough to form like a legit opinion on it because it's opening night, it's night 1,
and Zeev's running it for the first time too. That's where I'll give him a break.
And I'm gonna give it at least like 10 attempts, maybe even 15 before I think I form a legit opinion about this power play. But the first 2 were about as bad as you could go. You kind of win the faceoff along the wall, but then lose possession, and then you go all the way down to your zone, and then you turn the puck over. So then the Blues just work it back to their own end, go D to D, then walk back up. And by the time you get possession back, trying to exit your own zone, there's 40 seconds left. That was about as bad as you could do. Second one was a little bit better, but you're turning the puck over. It's errant passes. It was kind of sluggish at times. It's like they knew what they wanted to do, but they couldn't actually execute it. Third one, and bear with me here, because crazy enough to think you can do this, they won the face-off.
I know. It doesn't matter. The analytics people will tell you your age, you and your face-offs. They're not important. Puck control is not important.
How many times, genuine question, how many times last year did the Wild lose a penalty, a defensive zone face-off to start a penalty kill, and then they got scored on within 5 seconds? I think double digits. I think it was
they lost. Yeah.
I think it was like 15 times. And they got Sturm to pretty much fix that. Well, Guess what happens? You win a face-off. I think 4 seconds later, you throw a shot on goal, and it just winds up behind Binnington for, who was it? Eriksson Ek to just knock in. Like that's what you have to do. Just win a face-off. And granted, maybe they do that on the first one and it looks a little bit different, but starting the power play right from when the power play actually starts is such an advantage because you get the momentum, and it immediately puts the PK unit on their heels, and there's no time to breathe where it's okay. Now we only got to do this for 80 seconds and not 120. So we'll see. I mean, I think Columbus, their penalty kill isn't going to be like a top tier penalty kill by the time the season ends. So if they get a couple chances,
probably fair. 15 to 20 attempts is fair. I mean, with Zeev, one is I hope that they're patient there because I don't want him like Saturday night yanked off the first power play. But that's fair because Zeev is new there. Despite what he told reporters before the game, there were clearly nerves there. And by the way, the Blues beat the crap out of that kid last night. They were taking every run that they possibly could. I will say this defensively, though. So on Zeev, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty bullish. He's going to be fine. I like him. Your check in his own zone is going to be an adventure.
Before we go there, can I make a quick comment on?
Of course.
I saw some worry about the Buium Spurgeon pairing because the defensive core and everything like that. Like the Blues play a style of hockey that I think is really good for the playoffs, but not great for an 82 game season.
Yeah.
They're like it's hard to do every single night is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But you saw it last night where they're physical, they're big, and they just try to outmuscle you when they get the opportunity. And a lot of people were worried, like, is that pairing that's pretty undersized going to get pushed around for 60 straight minutes? I thought they held their own really good last night. Like Spurgeon, he was kind of back to his old like savvy defensive ways.
Yeah.
And Buiam, I don't think look like there was some nerves for sure, but I don't think at any point I was like, God, he looks like a liability out there. And I think what he did to help push play at times probably offset those lapses defensively. So I just wanted to point that out. I think that pairing was a lot better than what people maybe expected.
I thought Spurgeon played well.
Yeah.
Like he had a couple of things, but I mean, he also had I would say at least a handful of really nice plays, like small plays. They're not plays that jump off the TV screen, but yeah, I thought he played fine. And look, that's who they are too. Like they're not real big back there. Those, it's the, Bogosian's a big dude. Juracek's a big dude. He's not strong yet. But I mean, this is, and I'm guessing when Brodin comes back, and I believe John Hines' word was it's imminent. He's coming back soon. Might be on this homestand, which is 2 games, Columbus, and then I think the Kings on Monday. But my guess from what we saw last night, and I don't love this, but I think it's going to happen, is I think Juracek comes out, Bogosian stays in because that's Heinze, and then Brodin plays with Faber possibly. Middleton plays with Bogosian, and because I did read that they want to leave Buiam and Spurgeon paired because I think they like what Spurgeon for right now, what he brings from a knowledge standpoint, mentality standpoint to Zeev's game.
John Hines is going to do what John Hines is going to do. And what we've talked about with Jesse is even his lineup card to begin with at times where maybe Bogo is going to be, it's Bill Guerin and him.
That's a good question on your check, though. I mean, you gave up a lot. Billy gave up a lot to get him. So
it is. I feel like with Brodin coming back, like he should be able to adjust and be able to, I guess, cater his game to support a younger guy that the franchise gave a lot of picks for.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it seems like there's no better opportunity than to have him just be paired with Brodin to at least see what he's got because they gave up so much. Bogosian, I don't think you owe him anything because he's a veteran. He's been doing this for a while. He should understand. And I think at his age and what his cap value is too, like you're not a guy that should be playing all 82 games. Like at a certain point, you got to give it a chance with the younger guy who potentially could exceed that level of play, but we'll see.
I love it. I agree with you. I think he's going to scratch him, but I agree with you completely. Yeah. And yeah, the idea of Brodin playing with a guy who definitely has some offensive upside. I mean, your check has game. You can see what Bill Guerin saw. Yeah. But in the own zone, it's like, oh boy. But yeah, I mean, Brodin is the ultimate or one of the ultimate stabilizers probably. So I like the point. I just don't know. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about, because there's a lot of positives here. We got talked about a ton of positives so far. The fourth line last night. All right. Mm-hmm. So I felt like they played a lot more. Obviously, third period, it got to be 5 rip. And so John Hines felt comfortable throwing them on. But in game 1 of 82, next year will be 84. But in game 1 of 82, Hunter Haight, who played well, I thought, in his time, 10-27 at center. Vinny Hinostroza, he's a journeyman, 10-26, that's fine.
Yeah, that's with power play time.
Yeah, you're right. And Liam Ogren, 10-31. Now, here's my thing. And again, I know they want Ogren to play a different style. They weren't happy with it. Perhaps the message has been sent. But can you use 3 lines for 2, for the majority of 2 periods and spot your fourth line this much in October? Like what, just aside from the fact that you don't want to play the kids as much because you're concerned and your top 3 lines were playing well. Like if this is the playoffs, talk to me then. Okay. Let's have a discussion about that. Mm-hmm. But truly, what is your thought process about going into your opener, unless this was a 1-game thing, and basically being, I thought, afraid to play your fourth line?
I don't think that you can't do that for 82 games. Like it feels weird to think that they're going to do like one choreographed like style of play where you pretty much just roll 3 lines for a night against the St. Louis Blues. But I mean, it's similar to what I just said. The Blues play a certain style of hockey where maybe they felt that's the best way to put them in a position to win. And granted, they won 5-0. So if that's the case, then it worked to perfection. Yep. But my issue, and I get there on the 4th line, but Liam Ogren didn't take a shot on goal last night. He didn't take a shot on goal. For a guy whose game I think centers around offensive play, he's not being put in a position to have like that style of game. So I will say Hunter Hayes, I thought for the limited ice time he had, he made a couple good plays. He helped drive play in the neutral zone.
He looks like he belongs for sure.
Yes. And I see why he got the call back up.
Ogren to me looks afraid to screw up now, which is the worst way that you can possibly play. But if he does something the least bit wrong, he doesn't play.
Yeah. That's a really good observation because that's exactly what it is. Hunter Hayes looks like the guy that probably expected to be down, but now he's pleasantly surprised. You know, obviously somebody got hurt. Nico Sturm is getting surgery, so it's not like good, but he's like, oh, for me, this is beneficial. I'm back up. Let's just go play my game, and I'm going to kind of do what they want. Ogren is the other sense of, I've had how many chances here now? I worked this hard in the offseason. I can't screw this up. I think he's walking on glass here, where if he takes the wrong step, he knows, okay, this is probably going to be it for me with this franchise. So it's I feel bad for him.
That's my one complaint from last night, or I don't even know if it's a complaint. That's my one observation that I'm not sure if it was handled right. And I understand, but here's my question, because it's inevitable. It's already happening. Sturm is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Zuccarello, it sounds like, because he got checked out again in St. Louis, and I guess he told a newspaper in his hometown that he doesn't expect to be back till November. Guys are getting hurt. It's the NHL. Yeah. Guys get hurt. So when guys get hurt, can you just throw Ogren in and say, okay, now you're ready to go? You got to build him up a little bit. You got to build his confidence back up. And if he screws up, that's fine. It's going to happen. But as far as memory serves, in the first period last night, Jurček threw a terrible one-touch pass onto the stick of Robert Thomas. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Robert Thomas is a really good player. And I think that the next shift he was scheduled to come out with his defensive pairing, Jurček came out, which is good. He should. That's, you got to learn. But that's my thing is, you're going to have guys get hurt, and God knows this franchise does, fair or not. Liam Ogren can't just be banished to this role where he is barely playing, and you're like, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and then have I don't know, Marcus Johansson goes down. Take your pick of wings who go down, and now it's like, okay, now you gotta prove yourself. I feel that's a really bad way to try to set up a guy, and again, not just a guy, a first round pick who you liked enough to draft in the first round, and the Fiala trade, if Ogren hits, looks like one of the great steals of all time, in my opinion, because you already got Faber in that trade. So, and Ogren he didn't come in the trade, but he was the first round pick. So that's my one thought from last night of something that I didn't get.
It's going to be tough. It's not like if he was a journeyman, if he was Vinny Hinostroza and people get hurt, I think it's a lot easier for him to step into an elevated role, which Vinny Hinostroza did last season at times. But Liam Ogren, I think probably the way his view is, constant, don't mess up. You better not screw up here. And then if somebody gets hurt, and it's like, hey, you're our number one guy now. You are a very valued employee of this Minnesota Wild team.
Right.
It's it's very jarring, and it's a huge change of waves there. So I don't expect him to immediately be able to step in, but we'll see, because similar, we talked about first night jitters for a Z Booyam. I don't think it's a wild thing to say that Liam Ogren also, even though he's been in the league for a little bit, he also had first night jitters of, okay, I'm starting the season with the club. I know he might settle in and his game might look better. It's a 60-minute sample size, like we've said a couple times already this show, so I'm not going to take anything too deep here.
I just don't want him playing scared. Like,
Oh, he cannot. Yeah.
Booyan was nervous, and that's fine. I get that. That will pass. What I don't want is the threat of, well, if you have a bad shift, you are either benched in this game or in the press box on Saturday or sent back to Des Moines. Like, that's what I don't want. And whenever I watch him play, I see a guy that's trying not to screw up as opposed to a guy that's playing free and playing his game. I don't think we've even seen anything close to his game because he's so mentally bleeped by, oh, you're going to be out of the lineup. Now you're going to be in Des Moines. Now you're going to be back in. So, all right, great stuff, AJ. So the Wild has their their home opener, I should say, on Saturday. They play Monday. So we will be back talking to you very, very soon on Judd's Hockey Show.